we have a very special episode today. Today we get to see an Italian sommelier
Thank you.
pair with some fantastic Australian snacks. We've got some pizza shapes and some Tim Tams, and we're going to see what wine, specifically Italian wine, pairs with this. We are the Wind Up Podcast, and I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent. We have a saying here.
Drink more, try more, learn more. And so today we're in a very special location here at the Italian Wine Cellar in Des Moines, and we have a very special guest, the Italian sommelier, Daniel Marcella.
Thank
you.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thank you and welcome to Italian Wine Cellars. Well, obviously we are super happy and proud, honored to have the wine up here in Italian Wine Cellars. We are specialized on Italian wines. Claudia and I, we dedicated so much to this beautiful business, and today is flourishing in the heart of Des Moines, so we couldn't be more happy to host this as well, having some very classic Australian snacks, which is obviously the country they host us, and bring a little bit of the influences from the two countries. I think is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Super excited to go through it. And we thought what we'd do, we start off with our 4 rapid fire questions just to kind of get in the mood of the interview.
And to understand Daniel a bit more as well.
Absolutely.
So first one is, what is the most memorable wine that you've had?
Well, there is one in particular which has always been the Monfortino. Barolo Monfortino, 1990, was like absolutely one of the most beautiful wine that I ever had. So probably was at the beginning of my career when I was back in Italy. I was very young, so probably I didn't appreciate it like I will do now, but it was just like incredible. So an incredible experience. Yeah, it's still impressed in my mind.
Fantastic. Second question, is there a wine that you're still waiting to try that you've been eagerly trying to get?
Yeah, like definitely there are many grapes that I'm looking forward to try. So because I'm focusing on Italian wines, it's a little bit hard to say a particular wine as a label, but definitely in terms of grapes, there is so much curiosity and always looking for the grape I haven't tried. And then I speak to other Italian wine ambassadors around the world. They try something I haven't, and always want to look for it. You know, it's a kind of a mission. So there is plenty of grapes.
Third question, kind of in line with what we're doing today, is about, has there been any kind of unique wine pairings that you've come across that you want to share as well?
Yes, actually, yes. Thank you for this question. It was actually with the ramen. So it was, Japanese ramen, which I always found it to be quite hard and challenging to pair. And I paired the night with a Pinot Noir from Trentino Alto Adige. So I found it to be a great pairing, something that it was kind of a mistake because I had a Pinot Noir at home and I just opened it with this ramen, and it worked perfectly. So I was very excited. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, and then last question is, for us amateurs getting into wine, is there any kind of key tips that you can provide to us?
Well, I'll say, again, because I'm specialized on Italian wines, always be curious and approach wine with your heart. No, like I know that sometimes we tend to be like very technical. As a sommelier point of view, you should give more the technical aspect tip. But I always say that as long as you put curiosity and passion and love for something, things will come automatically, you know. And it's all about trying, tasting, and don't be afraid to try something new. And even if you try something you didn't like it, maybe try similar things that you may love it. Who knows? So it's always something ready for you. Yeah.
Keep exploring that wine journey, yeah?
Absolutely, which kind of stinks to our slogan here about trying more and tasting more. Yeah. And so that's the 4 rapid fire questions. It's a good warm up to understand you, but what we're interested also is your journey as well through wine. So to get to this point here, where we're in the Italian Wine Cellar, could you explain a bit about your journey, how you got to find that this was a passion and thing that you really enjoyed and come to this point in your life?
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess like my journey into hospitality wine world, it started when I was very, very young. So I was actually almost a kid when I first started working in the restaurant. My family owns different restaurants in America from my dad's side in Boston, and then I always had the growing feeling inside me of looking after guests and really have people around me, and I always wanted to provide that extra pleasure in terms of food and wine. Obviously, when I came to Australia, I worked for probably the best Italian restaurant in Sydney, which is Buon Ricordo. I always call like almost my grandfather, Chef Armando, which has been a great person who gave me the opportunity to stay in this country as well. So obviously provide me with a sponsorship, and then I reached my permanent residency. But also what I discovered in Buon Ricordo is that you shouldn't give Italy for granted. You should be always more passionate about your country, where you come from, because based on where we're coming from, we're kind of bringing a flag with ourselves, and we should be able to promote our region every single time. And whatever we can speak about the place where we're coming from, we can inspire somebody to go and visit that place. So that's what I was doing in Buon Ricordo. It was just sharing memories, sharing passion from my home, and that's it. And things that will come automatically, and guests will love that. So at one stage, I really decided to switch from being a sommelier to an Italian sommelier. So I took my course for Italian Wine Ambassador for the Vinitaly. I dig further into the Italian wine world. I explore more the food and everything else, and really, that passion grows even further in me. And then until I met Claudio, which is today is my business partner, and together he understood very well my concept and idea of Italy and how to bring it to people, and he helped me to elaborate today. And after 3 years now, we open Italian Wine Society and Italian Wine Cellars, and we just provide memorable experience every single day. And we always love to talk about Italy using wine as a vehicle. So this is what we do pretty much.
And you touched on memories, and in our earlier conversations, that's really something that stands out in my mind. I want to hold on to that because it's another question that we'll have. But if you were to describe the Italian Wine Cellar, what is it to you? What does it offer the citizens of Sydney?
To me, Italian Wine Cellar is like my home, and I bring people to my home. I want people, when they walk through the door of Italian Wine Cellars, to feel in Italy automatically, being able to find that feeling that they had when they were traveled to Italy. So for me, I would say it's my home, a possibilities, an opportunity to give something back, because Australia gave me an opportunity to stay here. And at the same time, I want to give back my background and being able to share something. So give value in regards to that. And I guess for people is because people are traveling more often to Italy, they want to refill that vibe, refill that emotion. Sometimes I always say it's not about the liquid part, the contents, it's about the memories. Like, for example, you tried a Soave in Verona, or maybe you try Falanghina on the terrace in the Amalfi Coast, or wherever you were eating some seafood, there was a sunset or whatever it is, you had memories, and you come back here and have again the Falanghina. It automatically brings back memories, It's all about memories at the end. It's all about experience, feelings,
You feel that passion really come through there, right? And that's something that I've also mentioned as well before, in terms of this connection between the memories, the wine. It's not so much about the content as you mentioned, but the people and the love around it.
Yeah, that's right. It was something in our earlier conversations. You were talking about how wine can be a bit transactional. You go through the technicalities, the sight, the smell, the taste, etc. But really, if it can transport you back to a happy place, a good memory, the sun was shining, you were with great people in a fantastic location. That's the power of wine, I think, which is what's fantastic.
It's open some tears into your mind, and it's just like it's unbelievable. The power of wine, perfume, taste is like it's very, very strong. I think the way it interacts with our inner self is just amazing. Absolutely.
And here at the Italian Wine Cellar, I feel like it does transport you back to memories of when I visited Italy, even from the moment in coming in, because there's a certain smell And what happens here, it's not just tastings. Do you want to talk through the different things that
Absolutely.
are services here?
Yeah. So in Italian Wine Cellars, we have probably the largest or one of the largest wine selection in the world. So we have now almost 3,000 labels in our portfolio, ranging from back vintages to current vintages, different grape varieties, indigenous varieties. We are very much specialized on looking for more indigenous obscure varieties. So this is our strength as well. On top of that, we do organize several events, experiences, exactly as you mentioned. So we're always trying to find the different topics, the different angles in how to interact with wine, because we do believe that we can explore wine in different ways. So we've been organizing Italian language class in wine. We did like the national Italian feast with antipasti all over the table and wines, so people they were learning how to make antipasto while sipping a good wine. So there is many ways to interact with with the labels and the grape itself. We've been doing several team buildings, weddings, and many other things. So we try to fit in any occasion. And what I found is surprising that wine you can put it anywhere. Like I did like a corporate events, I think it was 2 years ago for an IT company, and I'm thinking, how do I fit wine while they're talking about IT? It's very technologic. When I feel that wine, Italian wine in particular, is very human interacting type of product, But for some reason, it worked perfectly together. And I remember there was a group of people on Zoom say they were not listening to IT anymore. They were just watching our images of Italy, and they just feel the passion because, again, we are human, like, despite what. And there is always a perfect spot and interaction with a good bottle of wine. So, this is what we do. Like, a lot of experiences, bottle shop, we have our wine club, we have our membership program, so we have different services really to embrace and transport you back to Italy.
And having visited here, this is our second visit, there's a lot of unique wines. Like, to me, I haven't had many Italian wines, to be honest, but I can tell, like, you've got some great stories behind the wines here.
Some of that's indigenous varieties, right? So there's a lot to explore, and I think Daniel's the man, right, to kind of show us on that journey around Italy.
And so today we're going to see how best the Italian wines can pair with some classic Australian snacks.
Exciting.
Which is absolutely exciting. We've got in front of us a box of pizza shapes, and pizza shapes for me was probably a school snack that I would have during the day. It'd come into my lunchbox, and then you'd whip it out. At that time, underage, not drinking wine, and so good opportunity to see that. And then Tim Tams, and Tim Tams to me are probably the most famous chocolate biscuit from Australia.
You often can buy like a pack of Tim Tams at the duty free to take back to wherever.
You give it as a gift.
As a gift, exactly.
It's that much of a treasure.
And Vegemite.
Absolutely. And so with Daniel's skills in doing some wine pairings, he's recommended 2 wines to pair with both the pizza shapes and the Tim Tams, and we might jump right into it. Daniel, did you want to talk about the wine that you think would best pair with the pizza shapes?
Of course, yes. So for the pizza shape, what I was thinking is, because obviously it's a snack. So I always love to think that obviously when you got a snack, you have small bites, obviously. And what also you're looking at for the pizza shape is the carbohydrates and this coating, which is slightly salty and everything else. And there is one region in particular for white wine that I love to always speak from, because I always love to think that the white from this region, they're perfect for small bites. When I'm referring to small bites, it's like, imagine when you go to a Japanese restaurant as well, you got small bites of many different things. So, and when you sip your wine as well, you want to have the full experience of your wine, even in a small sip, if it makes sense. So what I was trying to do with this snack, obviously, is to recall the salinity, the mineral tones in the wine. So we go to Puglia, we go in this beautiful region in the southern part of Italy. The grape is called Verdeca, So we are in that extra complexity of having an indigenous variety, so something really, really obscure. And I just think that it will perfectly pair together because you got this small bite with this lovely saltiness, and then after you have a sip of that with a lovely acidity, the fruitiness just like will combine together. But I think we should.
So Puglia is like, is that the calf of the boot though, is it?
Yeah, it's just the heel part. Yeah, so it's like a strip of land surrounded by seas. Really a region that has so much history and so much beauty. Even when you look at the Trulli, when you look at the Valle d'Itria, El Gargano, the Bari areas, wherever you go in Puglia, is just amazing you. Like for the beauty and the feeling that you have, you know, I'll call it the new Tuscany because a lot of people now they travel there for tourism and so on. Really an amazing place. A lot of people drink mostly red from Puglia, such as Primitivo, but I'll say the whites from Puglia, amazing, absolutely beautiful whites.
It's quite a warm climate as well in Puglia, I think.
Yeah, it's actually warm climate, but you got these kind of microclimates that the seas create. It's not very hilly as well, doesn't have much altitude if you really think. There is just few set of hills, not very massively high. Mostly land. Actually, there is the second larger flat area, which is called the Tavoliere delle Puglie. It's just that, you know, I always think that Italy, there is this gift that despite it's warm, despite if you think, how can you grow grapes in there? Well, you will be surprised for how good it is. Yeah, it's
looking forward to trying it. And Trent's had a cracker already, and maybe you can describe what a pizza shape is like. Well, Daniel and I, let's try a cracker.
I haven't had a pizza shape since I was a kid as well. So this is like bringing back those memories. But I'm sure Daniel also agreed. It doesn't taste like a pizza that he would have these days. It just definitely has that kind of that savoury taste to it, like that kind of fake parmesan as well that kind of comes through. And then now try it with a.
It's more a cracker than a pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's yum.
Have you already tried it with this wine? Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm thinking, like if you want to have an aperitivo, like you just got, you know, you have a few pizza shape, maybe a few cheeses or something. It's just that great pairing actually. Like it works perfectly, you know.
How do you say the grape variety again?
Verdeca. Yeah, which verde is actually means verde or green, so which is actually recall the lovely green tones mixed with this yellow, golden, almost highlights that this wine has, and this lovely, refreshing acidity is. For me, this is screams of southern parts of Italy. This lovely juiciness, warm climates. Already from the color, you think it's like you're on a summertime on the beach in Puglia.
That color's beautiful. That kind of golden.
When Daniel just mentioned that golden color that you're describing, I'm imagining the sun.
The sunshine hitting it.
Like
has that kind of roundness, but still has that acidity that kind of comes through as well.
Yeah.
It's not piercing acidity, but it's cut through.
Yeah, it has a little bit of edge, smooth. Yeah.
What year is this though? Has it got age on it or?
2020. So if you think it has a few years on the shoulder. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, it's really nice.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But is this a wine you wouldn't age? You'd kind of drink now, or?
Look, there are a few grapes that definitely I would age. I wouldn't say that this is a grape that I will, looking forward for a long aging. But I'll say because you want the freshness, you want to preserve the freshness. There are other white varieties in Italy you can age in terms of white, like Verdicchio, Sanfiano as well. From I remember the Guido Marcella, which are absolutely amazing. There are some whites you can age, but most of the whites you're looking for in Italy, something like that, you want to have on the early consumption, have the beautiful bite, refreshing sip. Yeah.
I'm trying to compare it to like a grape variety that we would know, but you can't compare it to anything.
Yeah. Even on the nose, right? The smell is so unique. I do get I get a bit of lemon rind in there, but it's still something else.
It's like a kind of more riper fruits though to it. I don't know.
More juice.
Yeah, more juicy.
Yes.
And I guess that's the beauty of that is like okay, you enter in the wine world, Italian wine world perhaps, and then you try Verdeca, and thinking that in Italy we got so many indigenous varieties, it's just pushed the curiosity we were mentioning before.
Yeah.
It's not just trying a Cabernet, which you can have it in many different ways around the world, or Pinot Noir. We're talking about grapes, you can find it only in Italy.
Yes.
And they push you to say, hang on, I try Verdeca. Either you can try Verdeca from other areas or other producers, which is one thing, or thinking, okay, I try Verdeca, what else is available? Bianco d'Alessano, Minutolo, Bombino Bianco, and then you start climbing up and thinking,
Yes.
okay, what else? You know, what's next? What's next? That's the curiosity part.
But this is interesting because look, I haven't had a pizza shape in a very long time. I don't remember it being like this, to be honest. But effectively, it's a cracker. It's like a Graham cracker or some of those other English ones.
Has that kind of special powder on top?
It's got an odd powder that's red. I don't know if it adds that much more flavor to it, but I'm guessing that's trying to replicate.
It's like dehydrated tomato.
I think it's trying to replicate that, right? But the moment you have it with this wine, like the smell comes through of that lime and the minerality, but when you taste it, it kind of cleanses the palate and it's quite creamy. To me, it's like a lemon curd, actually, which is refreshing and exciting. And the finish on it, it's quite long, which is
love it.
great.
Yeah.
I think it
I agree.
works. We never doubted you. As an Italian Somm,
Oh, thank you.
you know your stuff, and this proves it. I think that's a great
I'll tell you,
pairing.
for me, it was a nice challenge as well. Like, challenge and, curious as well. Yeah. I love this combination, by the way. Like, combining the two flavors of, I wouldn't say Australia or Italy. It's just like the two different flavors, something you would never think of it.
Yes.
You guys come out with something extraordinary. Like, it's so interesting what you did here. Like, thank you for the opportunity, by the way. It's really, really, really good.
Oh, well, thank you for showing us different pairings here with the Italian wines. It works.
That's beautiful as well. It's only like 12.5% alcohol as well.
Yeah, which keeps it quite light, but quite flavor. Has a good flavor.
No, it's beautiful. So we've had pizza for main course.
We're
going to move on to desserts now.
And this is a very budget dessert, if that's what we're getting to. But onto the Tim Tams. Any stories you have about Tim Tams?
Oh, Tim Tams is one of those ones where once you start, you can't stop. So I was always a fan of just the original Tim Tams, but they've gone a bit crazy now with mint choc, double choc, triple choc, quad choc.
There's a lot of
caramel
There is
chocolate.
a quattro choc.
There's chocolate. Yeah,
I think it is like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got all these different flavors now. You go to the Coles supermarket now, and they always have like the half price deals, which means like you have to buy something. So then, and then they have all these different flavors. Just overwhelmed again about like which ones to get. But I always go back to the originals. Still the best.
Original is always the best, and the problem is like I always put my Tim Tams in the fridge to keep it nice and cool. It's not melted. Oh, you don't do that? That's okay. I thought that was a common thing. All right, okay.
That's a good tip.
It's really delicious because it makes sure that the chocolate outside is quite crunchy and strong. But what I found, the truth is, the moment you put it in the fridge, you have one and the whole packet's gone by the end of the night. They're so addictive, these Tim Tams.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I say one other thing is like the trend there, because you open up to here, you kind of don't realize how many you are eating. And this is what happened to me the other day. So I was just like, because you see fours and then you say, okay, hang on, let me explore a bit more. And then by the time you get to the last one, it's done. So that's
good.
it's a good technique.
You enjoyed it. So we're keen to try this, and for anyone that hasn't tried this, it's probably worth describing. It's a chocolate biscuit with a chocolate coating around it and chocolate cream in the middle. So 3 hits of chocolate. It's delicious. And we were talking about this earlier. We export it overseas to family anytime we visit anyone. So it's a very classic Australian snack. And so we had another challenge for Daniel to come up with a good pairing. And Daniel, did you want to talk through the pairing that you found for this?
Yes, the pairing for today, which we're going to open live today. I was thinking about Brachetto. So we moved from the white southern parts of Italy to the right north of Italy in a very famous region where they produce Barolo, where they produce Barbaresco, Nebbiolo, Barbera, so all those famous appellation of wines and grapes. And they use also these very small varieties, which is called Brachetto. And Brachetto, every time I think Brachetto, something come out in my mind, which is Gianduia. You know Gianduia, the chocolate?
No.
Like, Gianduia is like a Piemontese chocolate from Torino. There is also a carnival mask about Gianduia, and it is like kind of hazelnut flavored chocolate.
Like Nutella, is it?
Similar. I think for me, it's 3 times better than Nutella.
Wow.
Don't say that to Ferrero.
I need to have this. Wow.
I love Gianduia. In particular, the Gianduiotto, they look like a little pyramid in a golden. This is amazing. Like once you try Gianduiotto, which is the little chocolate, you have that. It's just like, let's say you're gonna get addicted. I'm telling you, I'm not responsible for that. So I always think about Brachetto and Gianduia together. So when you say about Tim Tam today, thinking, you know what? I could pair with many things, but I'll say Brachetto is gonna be Tim Tam addicting wine for sure. Yeah. So we're gonna open it together.
Okay.
I don't know if you will see the lovely froth that this wine will make, which is lovely and purple.
Oh, look at that color.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost like a red Moscato. For the people who does not love Moscato, still I suggest to try this. First of all, because I'll say Italian Moscato is not as sweet as maybe Moscato you may try anywhere else. So Moscato d'Asti or di Canelli is actually super refined, beautiful style of Moscato. This is like the red version almost, and again, it's not too sweet. So if you don't like too sweet style of sparkling wine, I'll suggest Brachetto for sure. There you go, gents.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I'll make this on the side.
So Moscato was always a favourite for a lot of Australians.
Yeah.
But obviously Brachetto hasn't kind of like pierced the market. Is there any reason why you think that's the case?
I'll say because there are not many producers of Brachetto, and also it's not heavily imported, and so it hasn't hit the market in a very strong way. And also like the price point of Brachetto compared to Moscato is slightly different because it's small production and everything. Probably you smell it already. You're already smiling, I saw you.
While you were talking, we both smelt it, and instantly we both brought a smile to our face because the smell, automatically I can tell it's going to pair well with the Tim Tams. But I've also never smelled something like this before.
I don't know, it's like a richer creaming soda type of thing.
I do get that, and I get a sense of if you've ever had a Turkish delight chocolate, that little jelly in there,
yeah, like that.
That is it. And I said it's with the chocolate, with the Tim Tam. I can just imagine it.
Yeah,
I'm super
I suggest
excited.
actually to have a sip before the Tim Tam,
Right?
because you will have a cleaner taste of it.
Wow, it's a super exciting smell, and the color is really interesting because.
That's fine. Right.
That's beautiful.
Huh?
Has the tannins still there as well? So
Yes, exactly.
which I wasn't expecting.
Oh, it's so juicy as well.
The juice and the
And I like the feel of the tiny bubbles that are dancing on the palate there. This is a dangerous wine. It's so delicious.
This is so easy to drink, right?
It's so dangerous. Yeah. Look, the alcohol is not that high. So it's like 5.5%, which make it obviously easier. So it's more like compromise a little bit. It's just like so good. Is imagine this even with an ice cream or whatever. It's just like perfect. And I'll tell you, even ice cream is such a difficult pairing. But like if you have this with a good ice cream, it's just like perfect combination. And in Christmas time, panettone, brachetto or Christmas pudding,
Fruitcake,
whatever you put out on Christmas, brachetto all the way. Like absolutely yes. It makes the family happy.
Yeah.
It makes you happy. It's unique.
Yes.
It ticks so many boxes. It's just insane. And actually, you know what I will do? I grab the ice cream and I literally pour a little bit in the ice cream.
like an
affogato.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll tell you.
Well, I feel like I know the outcome, but we need to try it. Let's try it with the Tim Tam. So the Tim Tam for me is it's got the crunchiness and crumb from the chocolate biscuit, but the cream comes through, which kind of makes it got this creamy sensation in your mouth.
Yeah.
And on its own, it's fantastic. Have you had it with the pairing already? Have you had it, Daniel?
I finished the rest of the Tim Tam now.
He finished the Tim Tam. The Tim Tam was that good. That's the problem with this. It's quite addictive. And now Trent's had it with the pairing, and if you want to
It's so much better
that.
now with the Tim Tam. And I said before that this is maybe by itself. It's beautiful on the perfume, but when you drink it, it's actually a bit sweet. The funny thing, the sweet with the sweet, then it kind of like evens out.
It feels like, to me, the Tim Tam asks for the Brachetto, and the Brachetto asks for the Tim Tam.
Wow, what a way to describe it.
It's kind of like the Tim Tam by itself. It says, "Give me something to relieve, to have the little bubble, the fruitiness of the Brachetto." And you go in also with the temperature of services, because this is now the Tim Tam is at room temperature, so the chocolate is melting. So you have the palette of chocolate. So you give the bubbles, you give the acidity, you give the temperature, the cool. The same time as the Brachetto, say I'm here with my fruits, with my acidity and everything. Give me something to dance with, and that's when you give the chocolate. And I love that.
Ooh. Give me something to dance with. That's what it works that way, because you're right. There's so much chocolate going on around your mouth. You need something to kind of clean it up, and that's what this wine does. And then it adds that complementary flavor. I really get Turkish delight jelly vibes from it, but it's so delicious. Wow.
Yeah.
It's putting a smile on our faces, so it's definitely a good match.
It's a winner. Again, coming through. Well done, Daniel.
Thank you.
The only problem is getting dangerous now, right? The easy
you want to have more, right?
Exactly. This is already halfway, but
and this is the beauty of the pairings, of bringing something fantastic from Italy, something fantastic from Australia. You pair it together, and the dance, it shows that it works.
Absolutely. No, again, guys, thanks for the opportunity, because for me to showcase our wine away again in a different perspective, and I'll say also more accessible to younger people, sometimes over like the 20s, 25, we're young. What we drink usually is like the ramen coke, the cocktail is fancier. We look at wine thinking it's more snobby, probably don't want to approach it yet. But guys, wine can be fun. Wine doesn't have to be too serious. Grab a box of Tim Tam, crack a Brachetto, have it, it's fun. It's like maybe you play something at home. Like always imagine it's winter in Italy, it's snowing outside, you play Monopoly, you play whatever it is, you open the Tim Tam, you have the Brachetto, it's smiling and it's conviviality. And you don't have to be 40 to do that. You can do that on the 20, 25, and only you're drinking something more healthier compared maybe to some cocktails. In terms of alcohol, is less. And you still have the beautiful flavors into your mouth. You're experiencing something that is memorable again. So this is a little message also to younger people, because I'll say in Italian Wine Cellars, I don't see many young ones. I love to inspire them more to say this is accessible to everyone, genders, age, anything.
And to your point before, don't be worried to kind of ask questions, right? Be curious about it.
Absolutely.
Learn, try new things. We tried 2 new things that we never tried before, right?
And they both turned out to be fantastic with wine. Who would have thought pizza, shapes, and Tim Tams? But this has created a memory. We're so lucky. Thank you, Daniel. We might throw some more pairings your way, because you're great at it. But
thank you.
Really appreciate you for hosting us here in the Italian Wine Cellar.
Thank you.
Was there any last comments that you wanted to make before we wind up?
Not only to have fun, but to keep things simple, despite even in our Italian Wine Cellars, sometimes lives it can the shopping mall looks like a little bit more a luxury or more affordable sometimes type of show, but also the wine, it looks like something a little bit more expensive. Doesn't have to be like that. Again, wines, they have very good price point as well. So a wine, I always say, is it gives you a luxury experience without being expensive. So this is the beauty of life. Keep it simple, having luxurious life, but doesn't have to be necessarily expensive. And this is what me and Claudio, we really wanted to, to bring alive. And we are very happy that we have the opportunity, thanks to you as well, guys, to bring back this message. So thank you actually for coming to us.
Oh, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've learned a lot. I think it's been a great experience, and it just goes to show the different memories you can create. It can bring together new people. You can learn new things, and it doesn't need to be too expensive. Have a pack of Tim Tams, and it'll be great. So again, thank you, Daniel, for hosting us here.
Thank you.
Come visit the Italian Wine Cellar in Drummoyne. Visit Daniel, great, warm, hospitable person. If you want to learn about Italian wine, if you just want to talk about wine in general and have some fun with it, Daniel's the person that's really going to take you through that. So highly recommend it. And as we say here at the Wind Up, drink more, try more, learn more. Thanks everyone.